Cardi B is really shaking right now, bestie, because whatever Offset just did has officially turned the internet into a meltdown zone. Like, if this were a TV show, this would be the mid-season plot twist nobody saw coming. So here's where the whole thing explodes. After Cardi welcomed her baby boy with Stefon Diggs, a moment that should have been peaceful, happy, and drama-free. And she announced it publicly on November 13th. But the timing? Whew, that's where things get sticky, because even though Cardi and Offset are very much done romantically, their divorce still isn't finalized. She filed back in July 2024, but legally, they're still tied together in the eyes of the court. And that is exactly what Offset decided to play with. Out of absolutely nowhere, Offset hops onto IG stories and posts, "My kid LOL, no context, no explanation. No chill." And if that wasn't messy enough, he deletes it minutes later. But we all know how the internet works. Once it's up, it's there forever. And that one tiny line, it sent the entire internet spiraling because Offset wasn't just being petty. He was hinting at Georgia state law. And baby, this is where everything goes off the rails. See, Georgia has this wild law where if a woman is legally married and she gives birth, the husband, not the boyfriend, not the actual biological father, the husband is automatically considered the legal father, period. No DNA test, no argument, no but, just married, match father. Offset knew exactly what he was doing with that post, because right now, under the law, Offset is technically labeled as the legal father of Cardi's newborn, even though Stefon is the actual dad. And the internet ate that UP. Memes everywhere. Hot takes, shock, confusion. People arguing in the comments like they were studying for the bar exam. It was a full-blown circus. But Cardi, she wasn't amused, not even a little. Right after Offset posted and deleted that shady story, Cardi slid into spaces and came in swinging. She didn't sugarcoat a thing. She said what Offset did wasn't funny, wasn't cute, and wasn't something to play with. According to her, Offset has been harassing her repeatedly, going out of his way to poke, provoke, and disturb her peace. And then she dropped the real bomb. Cardi said he's threatened her. She said he's been crossing lines. And she said it's gotten to the point where she's genuinely scared for her safety. This wasn't Cardi being dramatic. This wasn't her trying to trend. This was her literally sounding the alarm. And the wildest part? This isn't even new. Cardi has been saying this for months. Back in March and April, she was already telling the world that Offset had been stalking her, sending threatening voicemails, blowing up her phone, tearing at her mental health, and just doing the absolute most behind the scenes. So now that he's jumping online and poking at her newborn baby situation, it makes everything she's been saying suddenly click for a lot of people. This isn't just messy celebrity drama anymore. This is a pattern. This is a man trying to use the law, the internet, and her personal life to get under her skin. And Cardi is clearly tired. Tired enough that she's no longer holding anything back. And trust me, the way things are unraveling right now, this is only the beginning. And we definitely can't skip over the part that had the entire timeline shaking just a few months ago. The moment Cardi exposed him for allegedly sending their own explicit video to Stefon Diggs. Like, who even does that? That situation alone could have broken the internet, and for a while, it actually did. People were confused, disgusted, shocked, and asking how far this drama was really going to go. It was one of those situations where every time you refreshed your feed, a new detail was dropping, and the story somehow kept escalating. And honestly, it's wild because this drama just keeps getting messier every single time something new comes out. It's like every chapter of this breakup reveals a whole new level of chaos. Cardi says Offset has been doing way too much behind the scenes. She's reached a point where she doesn't even know what he might try next, and that's not something to take lightly. She's telling the public to really listen to everything she said on Spaces and decide for themselves. Does Offset sound unstable? And does it sound like Cardi is genuinely scared for her safety? Because when you break it down, this situation is way deeper than just internet drama, subtweets, deleted IG stories, and messy comments. It's not just gossip you scroll past and forget in 10 minutes. This is the type of situation that hits different because it lines up with real life patterns that we've seen too many times. Situations where someone becomes controlling or obsessive when a relationship ends and things start spiraling fast. And if we're keeping it real, this kind of behavior is way more common than people want to admit. It happens when someone can't handle being left, when their ego gets bruised, when their pride takes a hit, and suddenly they start acting out in ways that get progressively more unpredictable. Women do it too, absolutely. But statistically, a lot of these cases involve men who don't know how to let go, don't know how to accept rejection, and don't know how to move on without trying to assert control one last time. This is why the situation Cardi described is not something to joke about or treat like entertainment. This isn't about celebrity gossip anymore. It's a serious situation that deserves attention. Cardi is saying Offset has been doing the absolute most, crossing line after line and ignoring every boundary she tries to set. And she's now at a point where she genuinely doesn't know what he might do next. And when a woman reaches that point, that's not drama, that's a warning. And the way she spoke on Spaces, woo! You could hear the exhaustion dragging through every sentence. You could hear the pressure, the stress, and the frustration in her voice. She didn't sound like someone trying to go viral. She didn't sound like someone trying to stir up a scandal. She sounded like a woman who's tired. Tired of being targeted, tired of being harassed, tired of being provoked, tired of someone refusing to let her live her life without interference. And that's the part people need to pay attention to.
Of getting harassed. And when I get harassed privately and I ignore, that's when I start getting harassed publicly. And I have every single receipt. If you want to keep sending blogs to harass me, like, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Sometimes I sleep and I wonder, like, yo, this is not normal. You see crime documentaries on social media about women getting every other day. And on the truth, like, it's like, I'm a real tough bitch. Like, I'm a tough bitch. But you can never... there's a difference between being tough, and there's a difference between somebody having an unhealthy obsession with you that you have to you gotta be concerned. And I'm really starting to be concerned. And I'm so tired because I want to detach
This isn't some storyline for clicks or engagement. This is Cardi explaining that when someone keeps pushing boundaries, keeps violating your peace, keeps showing up with wild behavior and unpredictable energy, you stop trusting what they might do. You start living in that fear of the unknown, that feeling of what's next. Because every time you think they've gone as far as they possibly can, they take it even further. And that's where she is right now. She's not being dramatic. She's not exaggerating. She's not playing victim for the internet. She's telling people exactly what she's been dealing with behind the scenes for months. And the truth is, most people would have broken down long before now. So when Cardi says she's scared, when she says she's uncomfortable, when she says she doesn't know how far Offset is willing to go, that's not something anyone should dismiss. That's not something to laugh about or brush off. That's a woman asking to be heard before things escalate into something nobody can take back. And best believe, this situation is far from over. People online were stunned, genuinely stunned, hearing her describe just how far the situation has spiraled behind the scenes. And you could tell by the reactions that most folks had no idea things were this deep. Cardi wasn't tossing subliminals. She wasn't being petty. She wasn't playing into the drama for clout. She was laying out real life concerns in real time. And when someone at her level, with her platform and her confidence, openly admits she's scared, yeah, that shakes people. Because at the end of the day, celebrity or not, she's a human being who deserves peace. She deserves safety. And hearing her finally say out loud, "I'm scared," had people online immediately shifting gears. Because Cardi doesn't talk like that unless it's serious. She's never been the type to fake fear for sympathy. So the second she opened up like that, social media started realizing this wasn't just some messy breakup. This is something heavier, and something that's been building for a long time. And the saddest part, situations like this are way too common, whether the world sees them or not, when relationships end, especially when one person has more control, more ego, or more pride wrapped up in it. Things can get tense fast. And when someone doesn't know how to handle rejection or losing access to the person they used to control, that's when things start getting dangerous. We've seen this play out in real life over and over again. Someone gets emotional, someone gets triggered, someone lets pride take the wheel, boundaries get set. And instead of respecting them, the person starts pushing back harder each time. What starts as arguments turns into obsession. What starts as irritation turns into intimidation. And what starts as insecurity turns into unpredictable behavior. Women can absolutely snap too. Nobody is denying that. But the uncomfortable truth is that statistically, it's usually men who react in more extreme ways when a partner walks away, especially if she's moving on, healing, or living her life without them. And that's exactly why so many people took Cardi's words seriously, because what she described lines up with situations people have seen in their own families, their neighborhoods, their workplaces. It's not celebrity drama, it's a pattern. Cardi wasn't trying to expose him. She wasn't trying to humiliate him. She wasn't trying to spin a narrative. She was trying to protect herself. Finally, after staying quiet for far too long, because that's what many women do. They hold it in until they can't anymore. And once someone reaches the point of saying, "I'm afraid for my own safety," that means things have crossed way past normal relationship problems. And sure, the internet loves to joke, meme, clown, and make everything entertainment, especially when celebrities are involved. But fear, real fear, that's not funny. That's when people stop laughing and start paying attention, because the details she shared, the pressure, the threats, the non-stop tension, the emotional hits, the boundary violations, had people online saying, "Just hold up, this isn't tea anymore. Yeah, this is serious." It felt like everything she described was pointing toward a breaking point. Like the tension had been stretched so far that something was eventually going to snap. And Cardi making her voice heard might be the first real step toward reclaiming her peace and protecting her future. Because right now, Cardi is painting a very clear picture. Offset has been doing the absolute most, pushing buttons, crossing lines, and refusing to let things settle. And she's honestly scared because she doesn't know what he might try next. And when someone reaches that level of fear, that's not gossip, that's survival mode. When Cardi spoke on Spaces, you could hear it. That heaviness in her voice, that tight, exhausted tone people get when they've been carrying something way too long. And it wasn't just stress. It was that kind of emotional pressure that builds up over months of dealing with someone who won't back off. Cardi sounded like someone who finally hit that breaking point where pretending everything is fine isn't even an option anymore. She wasn't exaggerating. She wasn't trying to go viral. She wasn't blowing things out of proportion. She was sounding the alarm, hoping people would really listen instead of brushing it off as celebrity drama. And the wild part? She flat out asked the audience to judge for themselves. She wanted people to hear Offset's behavior and decide whether or not he seemed unhinged. That alone tells you she's been dealing with something way deeper than what the public sees. And honestly, the reaction was immediate. People weren't shrugging it off. They weren't saying she was being dramatic. A lot of folks admitted they felt uncomfortable, even unsettled, because the whole thing had this strange off energy. It's rare to hear Cardi sound shaken like that. She's usually loud, confident, in control, but this time, you could tell something was different, and that alone had the internet whispering that there's a whole lot happening behind the scenes that she hasn't even shared yet. And let's be real, situations like this get dangerous in the real world all the time. When a relationship ends and one person refuses to accept it, the energy shifts fast. Emotions get volatile, pride gets bruised, and suddenly the smallest thing becomes a trigger. People start acting out in ways no one expects. And yeah, women can definitely react badly too. Nobody is pretending they can't. But if we're talking about patterns, about what we see play out again and again, most of the time it's men who escalate things when they feel like they're losing control of a situation. That's exactly why people didn't ignore what Cardi said. They recognize the signs, they recognize the pattern, they recognize the fear underneath her voice. She wasn't trying to embarrass him, she wasn't trying to make him look weak, she wasn't trying to score points in a breakup, she was trying to protect herself. Something she clearly waited too long to do. She admitted she'd been quiet for months, hoping it would calm down, and instead it got worse. When someone reaches the point where they say they feel unsafe, that is not entertainment. That is not tea. That is not a Twitter topic. That is real life danger making its way into the spotlight. Cardi described pressure, threats, non-stop tension, and this constant feeling of being watched or targeted. And hearing her say all that in her own voice made fans realize this isn't normal celebrity drama at all. This is someone trying to reclaim their peace after being pushed past their limit. And you could tell she hit that limit because her tone didn't sound like a rant. It didn't sound like someone looking for attention. It sounded like a warning shot. It sounded like someone documenting the situation publicly in case things get worse. And in moments like that, the internet switches from laughing to listening real quick. You could feel the concern shift in real time. This whole situation feels like it's approaching a point where something has to change. Because nobody, celebrity or not, should ever be living in fear of someone they once loved. That's a different kind of heartbreak, a different kind of trauma, and it's not something you fix with a conversation or a tweet or a public statement. It takes boundaries, it takes support, it takes safety. So no, I'm not brushing this off at all. I'm not treating it like another storyline in some ongoing celebrity drama, because this kind of situation can get serious real fast. And once things start escalating, there's no predicting how far someone might go. I genuinely hope Cardi moves smart, keeps her guard up, and keeps her kids protected every step of the way. Because when someone starts openly saying they feel unsafe, that's when you stop joking and start paying attention. I want you to really think about what she said and how she said it. And I want you to tell me in the comments how you feel about everything going on, because this is a lot. Like, a lot. And honestly, something about this situation feels like it's far from over. But yeah, that's the full breakdown for now. And believe me, we'll pick this up again the second more unfolds, because this story is nowhere near finished.